Time to go live. Time to go live. It's a beautiful Wednesday night, college football. Day zero, because guys, it's tomorrow. We already had some games last week, week zero. Tomorrow it begins. We start to see the first dominoes fall for the week one of the college football season. What do you got to say? What are you most excited about rolling into week one? Off top. Wait a minute. The game tomorrow. I think the game that you're going to. That's probably what it is.
Well, no, so update there. I'm not going. We just have too much going on right now. And like I already have tickets to Colorado and ASU and USC, so we decided not to take the free tickets, so we bailed. But let's start with a more important game tomorrow night. Florida, Utah. Gators, Utes. This is the Urban Meyer Bowl right here. And I don't even, he's not around, but you have to say it. This is the Urban Meyer Bowl. I mean, you got where he started versus another big stop along the way. Two places that largely shaped his identity. This is going to be a great clash for one reason. I'm going to say probably the Utah's defense is going to keep this thing interesting through the late third quarter, even without Cam Rising. But I do expect the Gators to pull away and cover seven. Um, what do you think? I mean, do you have Utah living through this storm with Rising down, or is it? Do you think it's
I
tough
I
for
do
them?
actually. So the line has shrunk. It still favors Utah without the quarterback. They said the backup is a guy that he's been around for quite some time um, in the Utah program, and he's going to be decent enough to just enough to stave off the Wolves. Look, it's the number 14 team in the nation. The line's moved down to 4 points. Still does favor Utah, and it's in Utah. Gators are going to be better than they were last year, I think, and I, for that reason, think this game will be fairly close. But Utah should cover the 4 points. Give me Utah to win this game by 6 points and just cover the spread of what it is.
Man, a huge nod of confidence to Kyle Whittingham, and if he gets that done tomorrow, I'm gonna have to tip the hat because I mean, that's a tough win. Florida team is tough no matter when it is, So
Absolutely, yeah. And then you look at an improved Florida team, and they're ready. They're hungry. They know that they're going against a backup quarterback, so they're going to bring the pressure a lot. But I think that's fine. You just stand there. You just stay in the pocket as long as you have good protection. Which Utah is just a seasoned team. They've always been very seasoned the last couple years, and they play conservative and well, and they get the job done in a non-flashy way. Like you said, secretly winning the division in past couple seasons, winning the conference. So that's what you're going to get from Utah, and I expect them to barely eke this one out. Before we jump onto the full slate of this week, let's touch on our recap from last week, which if you followed along, guys, we did not fare very well at the bookies. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. Based on our analysis early on, both of us, I believe, had a high scoring game, or at least I did. I had the over, which was 49 points. That did not hit. Notre Dame destroyed Navy. I said Navy would cover the 21. I think you had Navy covering as well, but you said under lower scoring game.
hmm yeah, we both missed on the spread because Notre Dame covered easily.
Jacksonville State beat UTEP.
That was a problem. That was immediately a problem. I remember watching it. I'm like, the first quarter, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And here's one thing I want to look back and say, did you probably didn't realize this either? We both missed the fact that Rich Rodriguez is a first year coach at Jacksonville State. And he might not be the best coach ever, but like he's good enough that if you put him at one of those
Rich
smaller
Rodriguez.
schools, he
Trying to
can make
remember
some
where he
damage.
came from. West Virginia?
Yeah, successful run at West Virginia. Then he was exiled from Ann Arbor after a short stay in Michigan. The spread offense just crumbled. And then he landed at U of A. Ultimately, they let him go as well. But Jacksonville State rallied. That defense looked
See,
good.
that's hilarious. Jacksonville State, and they make their bid as a Division One team, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. So that was another one we got wrong. Let's talk about another one we were severely off on. Singing the praises of the New Mexico State Aggies. They got swamped at home 41-30 by a Massachusetts team that, quote, on the record, I said is not a football school. Said you just go there to read books Well, they hung 41 points on Texas El Paso, and the Miners were really just scrambling, looking like a team that was just trying to compete with Massachusetts in football.
Yeah, that was really bad. I mean, I thought they were gonna come back for a minute, and then I saw that pick six, and UMass. I don't know if you watched the game. UMass had a pick six dagger that just put it out of reach late in the fourth, and I was just floored because I'm like, this is what can you do? I mean, what can you do? UTEP showed up flat, so.
College football, Ohio played San Diego State closer than everybody expected. San Diego State still did cover the 2-point spread. So I guess the bookies, hey, they thought it was going to be a close game. We thought it was going to be more, but Ohio came in, got it done, covered the spread. Or sorry, no, didn't cover the spread. San Diego State covered the spread, but they got done what we thought they would there. Green check. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. Uh, Hawaii plus 17.5. We both got that right. Total 56. I got that right. Don't remember what you had on the total. Hawaii at Vandy. USC, 31-point favorites. They won by 28 points. They did go over the total. San Jose State scored more points than people thought they would. USC put up 56. So clearly the total of 67 was blown out of the water. And then Florida International came in. They covered the 11 points. And the total of 60 didn't hit. What did you have on Florida International, Louisiana Tech, and then the San Jose and USC?
Oh, I had USC to cover. We both did. And then I had Florida. I don't remember what you had, but I had Florida International plus 11,
Yep.
which they
Yeah,
did
plus
cover. You had
11.
that
We
as
hit
well, right?
that. Yeah. And then the total of 59.5, 60 points. I did not get right. I thought it was going to be a barn burner, and it didn't burn as many barns as we expected. So, yeah, that's the recap
I
from me.
will say, yeah, I will say, aside from our bets, probably the biggest takeaway for me of week zero was USC's defense. The jury is still out. We're going to be watching that. I think Caleb Williams obviously proved time and time, like he always does. He's the best player in the country, electric. But that defense, you give up 28 points to San Jose State. That might not, it may not cost you the Pac-12 championship. They may beat Utah, but that will cost you a shot in the playoffs. They may not even get in
Oh,
from the
yeah.
committee if that continues on. So these guys either played just kind of like to down to that level and were relaxed, or the Trojans' national title shot's already in trouble. So we'll
Yeah, I
see.
think for USC to go to the playoff, they have to lose one game or less. You lose any more than one game at the sixth spot, you figure they could play up to about three or four. If somebody loses, if Michigan loses, Ohio State, guys like that. Um, which brings me to obviously Ohio State, Indiana. But God, going into week one after brief touchback. What this also showed me, Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. Wow.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the pick. That was the portal pick of the year, man. You get that guy, what, fifth, sixth year senior. A lot of people following the Stetson Bennett um, COVID portfolio route now. Just take your time, kick back in college, transfer around, play for a lot of teams, put up some yards, get your name in the record books, and get more eyes on you. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Notre Dame, a premier football school. Sam Hartman moving from Wake Forest, where he ultimately elevated that program. I mean, my God. Uh,
And
so I expect
let me sneak this in real quick. So hopefully, um, this is a good little snippet, but I think that game for me, I put Notre Dame right there in the national playoff hunt. To me, that's what a playoff team looks like.
Oh,
Great O
exactly.
line,
Yeah.
great
Yep.
defense, a quarterback that's not only seasoned but just dynamic and comfortable back there. That's so dangerous. So look for them. The Irish might be in the
Get
playoffs.
this. Let's pitch a Disney movie like national championship game where the USC Trojans and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish
Wow.
Meet in the title game. Caleb Williams, Sam Hartman.
That sounds like fun. I mean, that sounds like a great matchup. I mean, really.
Would again bring me back to the Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. No, it wasn't. It was Mac Jones, Justin Fields national title game.
Yeah. Yep.
That
Another
was a
good battle.
fucking amazing. That was an amazing game. So again, curious to see what Justin Fields does this year in Chicago. But week one, nonetheless, we move on. Florida, Utah, we talked about. You have Florida, sorry, at the +7. Believing they'll cover that. And I think they do. I have Utah. The line has moved to 4. I think Utah wins this game by 6 points. One of my picks and best bets of the night, week one, East Carolina, ECU goes to Michigan, number 2. Totals at 52 points right now. I think Michigan hangs a lot of points, and I think ECU puts at least 14, on Michigan, maybe a field goal 17. But I think this is a barn burner. I think that 52 home opener ECU at Michigan, I think you're looking at a total to go over that. I think they could get into the 60s there. I'm staying away from the spread. I forgot what the spread is. I should have had it pulled up. I will
I think
pull up
it's
ESPN.
36. I want
We
to say
have
it's
it.
36 points. I just think that's a little much, but confirm that if that's what you're
Crazy
seeing.
stat, by the way, I heard today on Hammer Down podcast. Shout out to the guys. Spreads of 35 or more are 11-0 against the spread in the last 3 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
But again, when you do it at the wrong time, like I did with Alabama last year, you will falter.
You talking about that Tennessee game?
Yeah, what was it? Oh, I don't even remember. Don't even remember. Sorry, folks. But yeah, ECU, Michigan, that is a 36 flat spread. All right.
I
So then
like
we got,
ECU to cover.
then we got Virginia at number 12, Tennessee, 28-point spread. That's kind of wild, right? Tennessee's a good team. They're 12th in the nation. Totals 56. What do you see here? It's in Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, 81. Beautiful weather.
I mean, I think that Tennessee's going to come in and handle business. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're going to cover that spread. Bronco Mendenhall is a really tough, defensive-minded coach there at Virginia, and I think he's been there long enough to collect enough guys to slow them down a little bit. But I'm going to go Tennessee 42, Virginia 20. No, yeah, 42 to 24.
42-24. Yeah, just a college football game type of score, really, where one team's just ranked, the other team's decent. And, yeah, it's at home. I forget what I had on this one. The 28. I mean, I think I don't know. I'd have to see more of Virginia. I don't know what they're going to bring to the table, but 28's just a lot to me. I think the 28's a lot. So Virginia plus the 28 is going to be the play there. Colorado at number 17, TCU, who I feel like lost a lot of pieces. This is, again, a 21-point spread favoring TCU. I think you got to go Colorado here. I think they do have enough talent to keep it within 21. I don't think they win. TCU is going to win this game, but Colorado should cover the 21 points from my perspective, at least with the new recruits over there and guys ready to have really offenses built around them. So that's what I got in that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a national media perspective and Colorado's fan base perspective, you better cover 21. I mean, you spent the offseason walking around your coaches in cowboy hats, glasses on, you're talking about headlines. So you have to cover 21. I mean, if you go out there, and no disrespect
Must.
to Sonny Dykes, but if you lose to Sonny Dykes' Purple Frogs by more than 21, I'm just not sure this is the home run hire we thought it was. Because look, we know, like you said, we know Colorado added a lot of pieces. Uh, they're not perfect. They're not a national contender, but they added enough to where you should be able to cover 21.
Yeah.
So I think they do, and they
And
better.
I think on top of that, TCU at 17 is generous for the Christian Frog. I think they should be, 23, 22, something like that. Uh, they lost more pieces than people think. Good coach, good organization. They're on the rise. I think people are giving them more credit. That number 17, expect it to start turning into a higher number as the season goes and possibly disappearing altogether. I don't expect much from the Horned Frogs this season. They did overperform and played very well the last couple seasons, and rightfully so. But yeah, now's their time to start slipping to the back of the pack of the top 25 into the 30, 40 rankings. So that's what I have there. Colorado should cover. TCU's not the best ranked team right now. And again, if Colorado doesn't, like you said, start to question, was all that worth it? Spent a lot of booster money on just new stadiums, new football rooms, all types of stuff. Arkansas State at Oklahoma, number 20, totals 58. I think I like the total of 58 here to go over.
Yeah,
What do
I
you?
agree. I mean, this should be a 54 to 13 type of win. So absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas State, again, not a team. What are they? The Red Wolves? Arkansas State Red Wolves? Yeah. Um,
It's not gonna work against that caliber of roster. It's
they're
like,
in the
Oklahoma's gonna bring it.
they play in the Western Division of the Sun Belt Conference. Arkansas State Red Wolves. Utah State at Iowa. Iowa favored by 24, totals 43 points. But from here's what I know. Like, that's a scary line because you're like, oh, hammer that 43 college. And if you look at the math, possibly Iowa's favored by 24, but then you go back and you remember how bad Iowa was at scoring last season. Like, they just weren't that good. You couldn't count on
Oh, they
them to
were
finish
so
off
bad.
in the end
But
zone.
also, too, don't forget, too, it wasn't long ago, less than 5 years ago, that Iowa lost to North Dakota State.
The
They shouldn't. I
Jackrabbits
mean,
or the Rhinos or something?
no, the Bison. I mean, look, the Bison
Oh, the
are a
Bison.
pretty
Okay.
good
Oh,
FCS
that's
team,
South
but
Dakota State. Okay.
they beat Iowa, and then also a couple of years later, I think like Eastern Illinois came in and knocked them off. So like I was just like one of those sleepy teams sometimes. So they're gonna have to step on the pedal early.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, Iowa at number 25, too generous for me. Shouldn't be ranked. Don't like it. Mercer Bears go to Ole
My
Miss.
talk about a question mark. You said the Mercer Bears, my brain just exploded. I'm like, man. Anyway, keep going.
Mercer Bears at Ole Miss. Or sorry, nope. We're not going to cover that game because again, there's no spread, there's no total. You just can't talk about it. It's one of those games that it's just a cupcake team going in to just get their toes wet for the football season. They're going to get wrecked. You'll just see it scroll across the ESPN ticker and be like, "Oh, damn, I couldn't watch it." Like, yeah, they didn't even televise it, man. Yeah, it's just one of those games you had to be there. We had Buffalo at number 19, Wisconsin. I forget who it is, but Wisconsin has a new quarterback. They have a new quarterback from the transfer portal and a total of 54 in Wisconsin, number 19 in the nation with the Buffalo Bulls coming to town. I like Wisconsin to win this game handily, heftily, and blow the total open of 54 points. You got anything different here?
You said it's 51.
Yeah, 51.
So I don't think the
Or
over
sorry,
goes. I think it
54. 54.
54. I don't think the over goes because I think like this is one of those games where Wisconsin wins like 48-0. You know what I mean? Or like 44-3. Like it's gonna be one where like, damn, that should have covered. But like Buffalo, I don't see them really generating enough offense, especially on the road in Camp
Yeah,
Randall. Luke Fickle's opening season. I mean, there's just gonna be too much going the Badgers' way. So I'll go, yeah, 48, probably 48-3 Wisconsin.
48-3 Wisconsin. Wow, yeah. Yeah, that's a game that again, somebody puts up points, the other team doesn't. We'll keep it ripping here. Ohio State getting 30 on the road at Indiana, number 3 in the nation. Hoosiers known to play teams tough, but they always collapse in the second half. Anything different you have here? Is this just a cake fest?
No, I have Ohio State winning by about 17. Um, I think partly it's because the Buckeyes are going to really take this game lightly. I think a lot of the guys in that room probably weren't around for some of those 3 to 4 years ago games against Indiana where they let IU hang around and push them late. So it's kind of it's far gone in the minds, but I think the Hoosiers do get knocked off. It's just too much talent once again from Ohio State, but I think they probably beat Indiana. I'll go 44-27.
Yeah, I'm thinking for me, everything in my mind says Indiana covers this, but they still lose, and they always lose in heartbreaking fashion. They might go up early. They might be up 10-3, and then Ohio State comes steamrolling back and wins the game pretty handily. Indiana can put up some points in garbage time to maybe
Yeah.
backdoor cover, but Ohio State, this is a warm-up game for them. Nevada Wolfpack goes to the Coliseum, USC. USC, Caleb Williams, number 6 in the nation, favored by 38 points. They didn't cover last week. Did they cover this week? It's a big number, 38.
I don't think so. I think they win by 35. But no cover for me. Just too big of a line. Nevada's got a little bit too much pride to let that slide, I think.
Would have to agree with you there. 38, too big of a number. Favors the bookies. Lose your pockets. 38 flat. Don't mess with it. Middle Tennessee State. Forget what their mascot is. It's like a dragon horse or a unicorn or something. They're going to Alabama, and the total's at 52. Alabama doesn't have a starting quarterback, at least from the last I checked my timeline. I'm still thinking Alabama is so much better than them. This total gets blown up pretty much. 7 points, 10 points for Middle Tennessee, while Alabama scores into the 50s.
Yeah, definitely. That's a week where it doesn't matter that the quarterback is still kind of up in the air. Like that's just like you said, steamrolling. Real little to even talk about there.
West Virginia at Penn State, number 7 in the nation. Nittany Lions totals 50 points on this game. I feel like that's a total that's going to get opened up. I'm going to scroll down here and take a look at what they have here. It's Penn State favored by 21. 21 points, 50-point total. What do you got? West Virginia play that closer.
um, Man, I don't know about that line. Penn State 21 is a lot for against a West Virginia program that's. I mean, they're really not a doormat. They have their ups and downs, but
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty
Formidable. I
big.
feel like they're formidable. Every year, they're never great. They're never bad. And they can come in, they can beat you, or you can beat them. And it's just a 50-50 ball every time. They're a very mid-level team for sure. Um, Penn State, by the way, bad quarterback play last season. Let's hope they got that cleaned up. Another big game. A lot of people are going to be watching rivalry game right out of the bat. North Carolina at South Carolina. North Carolina's 21. Drake May versus Spencer Rattler. Totals at 65. UNC by a field goal is the bookies line. 79 and sunny. Duke's Mayo Classic is the rivalry game. Oh, we had a glitch out. Bear with us here, folks. We're covering college football week 1 here live in the studio.
Man,
We'll be
yeah.
back.
I don't know where it just deleted both of our screens. Is that what you saw too?
On mine, you kind of disappeared for a while. First it froze, and then you disappeared, and then it just wheel spun, and you came back.
Oh, okay. On mine, both of our screens went black and then just spun for that whole time. But anyway, yeah. So, what game were we on?
North Carolina, South Carolina, Drake May, Spencer Rattler, UNC by 3, totals at 65 in Charlotte, North Carolina, Bank of America Stadium.
Exciting game. Exciting game. I know South Carolina won last year, so you would think this is the year the Tar Heels win. It's a rivalry. I'm going to go against conventional thinking and just say Gamecocks win it twice in a row. I think a big year's in store. for Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, again, got to have a bounce back year. Prove you can be a top quarterback in college football again. Work your draft stock back up. Gotta love that one. Another one on my best bets of the week: South Alabama Jaguars go to number 24 Tulane. Tulane's given a touchdown. 6.5 is the spread favoring the Green Wave, and I'm all over Tulane at number 24 in the nation to win this game pretty handily against South Alabama. Anything different you have on this one?
Yeah, I like Tulane as well. Heavy dose of the run game. A little bit quicker athletes on defense most of the time. I'll take them to win this thing, probably 37 to 20.
37-20, big game there. Number 16, Oregon State goes to San Jose State. Oregon State favored by 17. They're number 16 in the nation. San Jose State coming off a 28-point loss to USC. What do you got here?
Well, I think Oregon State's going to be a 9-win team this year. They are really underrated heading into the fall. They finished last year pretty strong, kind of a sleeper dark horse candidate. But even with that said, I hate this line. San Jose State's coming back from that loss to USC. They got something to prove. They know the Beavers a little bit more vulnerable, even in their best years. So I think they're gonna come out and swing some pretty big punches early. But I think Oregon State probably gets this thing done by 10 to 13 points late in the fourth.
Yeah, it's crazy to say, but I think we can expect a slight surge from San Jose State in the coming years to just improve as a football program. It's just something that I foresee on the horizon. That teal and yellow warrior just fighting its way into relevancy, really, because a couple years. I mean, I don't even think they've had a football program for that long. So again, this is
Yeah.
hats off to them. Another big game. A lot of people are looking at this as the actual game of week one. Number 5 LSU at number 8 Florida State. LSU Tigers favored by 3. The biggest problem, though, is they're down to 2 active running backs. Both of their primary backs are injured and out for this game. I still think LSU can do it. It's only a field goal. This game's going to be tough. This game might go to overtime, but LSU should win. LSU should win this game. What do you have?
I'm actually on the other side of things. I think Florida State gets this done. Statement game on the way from Johnny Wilson, young right receiver. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, and I just think this is look. Every dog has his day. It's not Chip Kelly's day. I see an upset Chip Kelly with the visor in his face on the sideline, and probably a Florida State by a field goal type of game, 31-28.
Yeah. Wow. That would mean they would cover the 2.5 if you went plus 2.5 for Florida State on a field goal. That would be crazy. Another game that I'm liking, and I don't know what the book you see here, but number 9, Clemson, Dabo Sweeney at Duke. Clemson favored by 13 flat. They win this game by more than 2 touchdowns. I don't see how they couldn't.
This line has bewildered me all week long because I've like looked at it and I keep like that feeling where you're like that's so easy and then you're like what do I not know because that line is so small like everybody
Yes.
knows that line is
Yes.
so small so I'm like obviously I'm gonna
Does
say
Duke have a new
crush.
head coach? Do they have a 5-star portal transfer? Like,
I don't know. We probably need to look into it because yeah I
I
mean I'm
gotta
still
dive into the
hammer
field
13
still. I just
but I'm
got
with
back.
you.
Yeah, I just got back from Cali. Haven't had a chance to deep dive into the Phil Steele, so
Mm. Would
it's
recommend
happening.
that tonight. Get out a highlighter and sit down. There's a lot in there.
Yeah, gotta dive into that. So I think they do that pretty big. I added 2 more that aren't in the top 25 due to some other games in the top 25 not being that important because they're cupcake walkthroughs. We got Nebraska, Matt Rule going to the Golden Gophers. Golden Gophers favored by 7. We talked a lot about this game last week on the preview for week 0. Minnesota, 7 flat. This isn't a 6.5 game, it's a 7 flat. So Minnesota needs to win by more than a touchdown against NFL experienced Matt Rule, which on the college side, numbers show he does not perform well in his first year at any head coaching job. At the college level, his previous to last place, 2 wins. And then after that, 1. And then with the Panthers, I think they were like one win or winless when he got fired. So this is a revenge game for Matt Rule. Expect him to bring that NFL experience, but 7 flat's scary. What do you got from the Golden Gopher and the Cornhusker?
Yeah, I think Minnesota wins this game probably by 3 to 4 points. Actually, I think it should be pretty close just because Minnesota's they're not spectacular, but I do expect PJ Fleck to have these guys ready to go. Um, not yeah, Matt Rule. He might turn things around, he might not, but it won't be week one.
Yeah, you got to hope things go up from there. Fresno State at Purdue. Purdue's given the 4 points at home, 3.5. And I think they take it. I think there's no reason why Purdue does not cover this 4 point spread at home. Boilermakers, you got the Bulldog coming in, and it's questionable. They haven't been the best team. You know, they're not a sturdy program. They're either overperforming, you know, in the 30 to 40 range, and they might knock off a ranked team and run around, or they're just really, really bad and they get mopped every year. So this is a team that's better than in previous years. Purdue has fallen out of the ranked categories, but both teams I feel are in that 30 to 50 range right now. And this is going to be a very good game. That 3.5 line has got me ready to eat some loaded nachos and bet on this game.
Yeah, you're right. This is absolutely a loaded nachos game. Fresno State and Purdue. Um, you can't beat it. It's one of those games where you're just like, it's so equally matched, especially in the era of the transfer portal. Like
Yep.
that's really even things out in Fresno. There's no question about it. I view them as a mid to low tier big team, Big Ten like quality type of roster now. So they could compete with Minnesota. They can compete with the Purdue's of the world. Um, this is my upset of the week. Fresno State Bulldogs. I think by the end of this thing, that conference is going to be looking at them as a contender, and I'm excited to see this thing unfold. So if you're in West Lafayette, if you're an Oaken Bucket guy, be careful because
Yeah,
it might spell doom.
definitely look out on that one. Tennessee State Tigers go to Notre Dame, number 13. They're going to get dusted. Sam Hartman. Nothing to talk about there except a possible 5 touchdown game. UT Martin Warhawks go to Georgia, number 1 in the nation. There's no
God,
spread, no nothing. That's going to be like a 75-0 game.
UT Martin, that's a bad day to just play any position on the defense there. Like you just don't want to show up.
Yeah, actually, let me look because they might not even be the Warhawks. What are they? Oh, Skyhawks. See, this is how much I know about UT Martin. The UT Martin Skyhawks. Unfortunate. You know, hey, good time to go into Notre Dame.
Yeah, no,
And then we
absolutely.
got a couple more here to wrap it up. Southeast Missouri State goes to number 16, Kansas State. Again, nothing to talk about there. I believe that's an FCS school. Playing Kansas State there. They're going to get mopped. Kansas State 16 in the nation. And there's one more. Oh, Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, number 11, Texas, hosting the Rice Owls in Austin. That's DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. What do you think here? From what you've read, what are you going to see? Who do you think starts the game? How do you think both of these guys fare?
Well, if there's no injuries, right, it should be Quinn Ewers. I thought that's who would be getting the nod. Because he was a Heisman candidate mentioned early on until that injury. I think a lot of people thought they might have almost beat Alabama last year had he not gone down. So, yeah, I think you start Quinn Ewers. I think he's pretty comfortable back there. You got a good O line. Rice is a pretty bad opponent. This should be a 51 to maybe 17 type of game. I'm not ready to crown Texas defense, but they did look good in some early portions last year. Let's see if they can keep it up. Probably a couple late backdoor Rice Owl touchdowns to even get that 17.
Yeah, again, Rice, a very Indiana program of the Southwest. Got to say that. This is another one that concerns me. Last game to close it out, top 25. New Mexico Lobos at Texas A&M, 23 in the nation. It's in College Station at Kyle Field, 38-point spread favoring the Aggies. and only a 49-point total, which blows me away. Hammer the total, hammer the over. 49's getting covered in this game. Also, that 38 might not get covered. I don't think New Mexico's as bad as the bookies are saying at 38. Texas A&M at 23. Do we love them that much to say, hey, they're going to cover 38 in a 49 total game? I don't think so. That's just me, but the numbers don't add up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they cover the over. I mean, I think the over is pretty easy. Um, to me, like the spread is certainly doable if Texas A&M comes out in full throttle for full quarters, but that's I think the worry in that spread is that they come out and they might go up by the amount of the spread, but interest starts to dwindle. I mean, A&M is a big NIL town. Guys are comfortable there. I just worry that again you go up 41-0, and by the end of it, they've only won by 33. You know, guys are relaxing, and then you got like I praised him last week, accidentally had him on the wrong team, but Danny Gonzalez, finally, I can say he rears his head this weekend that's the coach I was talking about in New
Yeah,
Mexico, not New
makes
Mexico
sense. Maybe
State.
that's why the bets were off on New Mexico State. They just got wrecked. Who is their coach? I don't know. But
Oh,
yeah,
you know what? Speaking of coaches, this was funny.
house did Johnny go?
I was listening to a pod yesterday of some local ASU reporters and site publishers, and it was funny. One of the interviews they did was with a Southern Utah journalist, and I guess one of the quotes from their coach, they asked him like, well, "Yeah, when's the last time you played a freshman quarterback as a coach or whatever?" And he was like, "Michael Vick." He was like, "I still have PTSD about that, so just hoping this goes differently." I'm like, "That's funny." The last time he coached against a freshman quarterback, I
Where
mean,
the
that's
fuck
a
is he
nightmare.
from, man? Damn. One can only
Yeah.
hope to still be have a resume that deep, man. To be on an NIL payroll 25 years later, Jesus.
That's turmoil, man. I mean, Mike Vick that's not good. Not good because
I
there's no
remember
film on him.
I just remember being a kid, just waking up in my bunk bed and looking at newspapers, and the college quarterbacks were like Drew Brees, Tim Couch, Mike Vick, Antoine Randall,
Oh,
and
way
it's just
different era.
long gone.
Way different
Just
era.
guys with gray beards. They're just coaches now, out of the league. Transfer portal is heavy. Money's flying. Big names
Oh,
still in it. So to still
it's
be
so
in
much
the
fun.
league, wow.
It's crazy,
Tomorrow's gonna
man.
be fun. Tomorrow's gonna be fun. So, you gave your upset of the night, of the week. What's gonna be the game of week one for you? Most entertaining electric game of week one.
Florida State, LSU. Look out, Mike Norvell, former Arizona State offensive coordinator. A lot of former Sun Devils popping up lately in these big time headlines. But yeah, he's the coach over at Florida State. So, yeah, I got them 31-28.
I like it. I love that one. I think that one is probably most thought to be that, and I think it should be because they're both really top teams. But I think what we're going to see is the duel in the Carolinas. Drake May, Spencer Rattler, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns each. This is going to be a barn burner. Fans are going to be talking about this for a long time. The battle for draft stock in North Carolina. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a week. For me, upset of the week, I don't know where I land. I think I would have to say if I did believe in anything, it would be Colorado beating TCU because I think they're closer than the rankings tell. I think Colorado is overrated, but I think so is TCU. I think it's going to be a close game, and if it's played closer or Colorado wins, that could be the upset of the week. So we'll
Yeah,
look for that one. But guys,
absolutely.
again, great for week one. Dive in, tap in. We'll see you next week. We'll be sharing more stuff. So stay up to date with college football. Fun times await. We'll see you next week. Pigskin season. Get the bets ready. Get the
Let's
loaded
go.
nachos ready. The tailgate parties. We'll see you all season long right here on Fun Times Await. Winning bets, cash and checks. We'll see you guys next week.